that is it. We just dropped her off at the Delta Cargo Hub, and she's gone. All right, guys, what's up and welcome back. In today's video, it's all about my favorite snake not being here anymore. But before we get into that, let's feed some of my venomous snakes. So we got a bunch of ball pythons, frosted for the king cobra. We have to clean a little bit of poop, and we're actually just gonna give these snakes a little snack. So I have a bunch of mice over here, some extra mice. So we just ran out, we ordered some new rats, but right here we got a bunch of extra little black mice. So we're just gonna give everyone a little snack. We're gonna feed the pygmy, we're gonna feed the king cobra some of these awesome morph ball pythons. Look, we got highway morphs and some Mojave and some, I think that's like sunset, I don't really know, exanthic bottom left. So we're gonna feed all of the venomous snakes in today's video, and then we're gonna jump into my favorite snake being gone, which I'll explain at the end of the video. So don't go anywhere, because you're gonna see which one of these snakes that is my favorite, but just doesn't align with what we're doing, that unfortunately I have to get rid of. So first things first, I say we feed the king cobra. Right here we got 5 ball pythons. Now typically in the wild, these king cobras are gonna be eating mainly super long rat snakes. And if you add up the lengths of all these ball pythons, pretty much about the size of like 1 or 2 rat snakes. So it's actually a perfect meal. Now lately we've just been feeding our snakes because obviously it's one of the healthiest things to feed your king cobras. And we're really trying to put some weight on her. I wanna get her really, really fat off of snakes, and then we'll get her back on rodents. But we won't need to feed her as much rodents because she's gonna be super fat from eating all these snakes. Now, at first, when I fed her first snake, she was like, what? What's that? But now you can see she's just grabbing these baby ball pythons right off the tongue. That is like a super expensive ball python right there. I mean, that thing's like maybe $2,000, so a pretty expensive meal. All right, so we got a bunch of these little black mice, but we also have huge snakes like the Tazabcan and the Gaboon Viper. So we're just gonna get some of these little weaned rats that I had left over too, and let's go ahead and feed the Gaboon.
Nope.
That's actually the first time this Gaboon Viper has missed his meal. There we go, we got a mouthful of plants. There we go. He's probably gonna get 2. The Tazabcan will probably get 2 of those weaned rats. And this is just a little snack. Like I said, we ran out of rats, we just placed a new order. So we're just giving everyone a little snack. And look how big that king cobra is getting. Like you can see her scales separating. She's definitely gaining weight, and she's at a real nice healthy weight right now. We also are soaking all of these brand new logs in water and bleach to get them ready. So every single enclosure is gonna have a nice big log. We already got them, they're just getting ready. We just froze these for a couple weeks. So if any mites or diseases are on this, all you gotta do is either freeze it or put it in a bathtub with water and a couple cups of bleach, and you're all good to go. All right, guys, the next snake we're gonna feed, let's jump right down the line and let's head straight for the coastal taipan. So this is a super, super deadly snake. I mean, a taipan like that, a 6-foot taipan, for that to go past these tongs, it's just way too easy. So I think we should just open it up and toss them in there. I mean, let's give it a shot. Ooh. Wasn't too bad. But the rest we'll go ahead and we'll just throw in there. I mean, look at that taipan. You guys get ready, because our next video is gonna be absolutely insane. It's all about hybrid venomous snakes. So I had the chance to purchase one of the rarest hybrid venomous snakes, and if you watch my next video, you'll see exactly what it is. Now, it's a hybrid venomous snake that is hands down the coolest, and I don't even think anyone in the United States, maybe with the exception of 1 or 2 people, have this venomous snake. So we're gonna go over to Chandler's, we're gonna go over to Tyler's, we're gonna see some hybrid venomous snakes, and then at the end of the video, I'm gonna show you guys my hybrid snake. But that's the next video. So guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, and don't go anywhere, because our videos are gonna get absolutely insane. Oh. And this is the leucistic monocled cobra. Crazy, crazy cobra. But as you can see, if you wanna zoom in on her eyes, rather, you'll see they're covered in a light blue gloss. Now, she's shedding. So typically when snakes are in shed, they don't eat, but this is also a super crazy cobra, and cobras just have insane feeding responses. So typically a monocled cobra will still eat in shed. A lot of other vipers, super sensitive snakes aren't gonna eat during shed, but most of the time a cobra will eat. And there's nothing wrong with feeding a snake that is in shed. A lot of people are like, oh, it's in shed, I'm not gonna feed it. I mean, at least give it a shot. Nothing is gonna harm the animal just because it's in shed. So even though she's in shed, she's still gonna eat like 4 or 5 of these little guys. And let's feed this little monocled cobra. Now he's big enough to where he could probably eat just a full one of these. Oh, careful guy. He's got a big buffet above him. But That right there is that little monocled cobra, just a regular phase I got from Chandler. Still one of my favorite snakes, just because of the way he acts. The next snake we're gonna feed is the Yucatan Neotropical Rattlesnake. The longest rattlesnake, the longest viper I have right now. I can't wait to get a nice big log in there. Now when you put a log in the enclosure, it also helps these snakes develop muscles because they're climbing on the logs and they're not gonna look super flat and basically just unathletic. So adding these logs is gonna help these guys build muscle and shed. He's like, dude, what's up? You really gonna give me that little rat? He's like, don't even insult me with that little rat. Give me something bigger to eat. All right, we'll throw 2 of these on top of the box and hopefully they'll come eat. All right, next up is the blue Insularis, which didn't eat last week because she was in shed. But let's see if she'll have a little bite. Perfect. Never misses a meal other than being in shed. Now, just like I said, a lot of vipers when they're in shed, they just won't eat, especially arboreal vipers, but cobras, man, they always eat. And above her, we have the Mengshin viper, but he only eats live, so we're not gonna feed him today. But we do have the pygmy rattlesnake, so the pygmy rattlesnake is gonna get 4 little pinky mice. Now, the pygmy rattlesnakes are super sensitive. If I were to feed this pygmy rattlesnake too much of these or too big of a mouse, they'll almost always regurgitate. So typically in Florida, these guys are eating little frogs, they're eating pinky mice, and they're eating lizards. So just like that field torn viper I had, if you feed them too much, they'll just regurg. So I'm just gonna drop a couple of those. All right, guys, it's 6 in the morning. What we gotta do, right here, we have our shipping box. So we have our foam insulation to keep this animal warm. And if it gets too warm, we have these water bottles, which are going to collect heat and help lower the temperature. So that's what we got right here. We picked a specific day to ship this snake because the temperatures are kind of perfect. So we don't want the snake to be too cold. We don't want the snake to be too hot. Today, there's pretty average medium temperatures around 70 degrees. So we're gonna put this little guy in this box. Then we're gonna put him in this bag. Then we're gonna zip tie that box and all this shut. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get this snake. So we skipped her meal this week because when you ship an animal, it puts them through a little bit of stress and they can regurg and it's just not good. So we went ahead, we skipped feeding her this week. So the gentleman who's receiving her will go ahead and feed her. But if you look in this cage, you can tell, hey, where's the snake? This is one of the reasons we wanna get rid of the snake is because we're all about displays. We want you to walk in here, be able to see the snake, appreciate it, learn, and stuff like that. So snake like this is just gonna hide in the substrate and you're really not even gonna get a chance to look at them, which is the main reason why we're selling this guy. Definitely one of my favorite cobra species. So cool. I mean, could you imagine if this Cape Coral cobra got like 6 feet long? It would literally be the coolest cobra on earth. Look at that guy. He is so cute. All right, this is gonna be a hard part. I'm gonna have to put him in there and get the lid on. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to film this. His head's right there. There you go. And that is how you box up a Cape Coral cobra. Guys, and there we go. We got our labels. When you ship venomous snakes, they either need to be in a container inside of a bag or inside of 2 double bags. So here we have it labeled danger venomous snakes, the common name Cape Coral cobra, and the scientific name Aspidolaps lubricus. So we're gonna put this guy right here. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna add some water bottles in case it gets too hot. This is gonna help absorb that temperature. So we're gonna put 1, 2, and it's just gonna help keep this stable. Now, this foam you see right here, just like a cooler, it's just for insulation to keep like an ambient temp, but it also works as a little bit of protection too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. All right, we got him in, we got the water bottles. As you can see, we still got a lot of dead space. We got this guy inside of a bag with an extra red zip tie. So in case he gets out of that container, which he won't, he's still stuck in a bag with a zip tie. So double security, double protection. We're gonna put that right there. And then we're just gonna take some pieces of packing paper and we're gonna pack this very lightly all the way to the top. Packing paper is all done. Now we're gonna come in with our lid. pop that right here. We'll write on top danger venomous snakes as well. And last but not least is our lid, which has my information, the buyer's information, species, the airport it's going to, and the airway bill. The box is all ready to go. We got our zip ties all the way around. We got our holes in the box. Now it's time to head to the airport, and we'll see you there. And that is it. We just dropped her off at the Delta Cargo Hub, and she's gone. She is gone. Definitely gonna miss that snake, but it's okay, because I know she's going to a great home, and we're gonna work on getting some new stuff. But that is the end of today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, if you liked today's video, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.